Welcome everybody to a look at a relatively recent Imprint release, and it is number 421 in the Imprint collection, and it is 1975's The Man Who Would Be King. So this is directed by John Huston, who also did the fantastic films The Maltese Falcon, The Treasure of the Sierra Madre, Key Largo, and The Asphalt Jungle. So I've seen 9 of his films in total, but they're definitely my favourites. So this is an adventure film clocking in at 129 minutes long. Stars the likes of Sean Connery, who I've seen in 40 other films, and since we've extensively gone through his career with the 6-film Steelbook 4K release of his James Bond efforts, I'm going to talk about a couple of ones that I haven't really mentioned and do have kind of a soft spot for, and they are Outland and The Presidio. It also stars Michael Caine, who I've seen in 48 other films, favourites being the likes of Get Carter, Children of Men, Mona Lisa, and the first 3 of the Harry Palmer films. And finally, Christopher Plummer, who was in the likes of Remember, Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country, Dolores Claiborne, and the 2011 version of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. So 2 British soldiers set out to build an empire of their own when they venture into remote Kazakhstan in search of fame and a fortune in treasure. So this isn't a faultless attempt by any means at an adventure film due to a pair of unsympathetic characters and a plot that is lacking in surprises, but it does manage to be engrossing despite those elements. This is thanks to the superb pairing of Connery and Caine, who have a great deal of chemistry between one another. It is well paced, beautifully shot, has great locales, a superb score. The action scenes are well executed. It's got a really rather fantastic stunt towards the end of it, where one of the characters drops some 80 feet, and and it has some really rather numerous entertaining moments throughout as well. So yeah, not my favourite John Huston film by any means. The films I mentioned before certainly are ones that I prefer from him, but this is still a solid 4 out of 5. And yeah, really glad to have it in my collection because yeah, it's now one of many films that I own from either Connery or Caine. And I like the new slipcover that it's got going on with original artwork, and then another version of the artwork on the case. Then we've got the disc itself. And on the disc itself, we've got a 1080p high definition presentation, which once again looks and sounds fairly good. It's not faultless, but it's still fairly good. Then you got Call It Magic, The Making of The Man Who Would Be King featurette, The Gentle Giant interview with actor Danny Huston, and then you got High At, because obviously he was the his son of John Huston. And then we've got High Atlas Adventure interview with continuity supervisor Angela Allen, and then the theatrical trailer for the film as well. So yeah, fairly decent extras there. Nothing spectacular though, but still, it's nice to have at least some extras because, as I have said with previous Imprint releases, there have been several that haven't had any extras on them whatsoever. So yeah, it's nice to finally have some. Well, I would say finally, but it's nice to have some on this release. Unlike, like I said, some that have gone in the past that haven't really had any at all. So yeah, and it is a kind of film that really does deserve those extras because it is a solid effort. It certainly brought John Huston back into the limelight in terms of critical appraisal and box office success, because a lot of people were saying it's his best film since The African Queen, which came out more than 2 decades prior. And yeah, this is somewhat like that in that it's an adventure film, although, like I said, the 2 lead characters are no way sympathetic as Humphrey Bogart and Catherine Hepburn were in the African Queen. I think it was Hepburn in the African Queen, but regardless, somewhat similar in terms of that, in terms of it's being an adventure, but nowhere near as sympathetic characters, which is what hinders it a little bit. But nonetheless, if you have seen this film before, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.